Today, I want to talk to you guys about subprime credit cards, what it is, and 3 subprime credit cards to stay away from. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from skip tracing to collecting to management, and I've owned 2 debt collection agencies. For the past 8 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit, and now I want to be that person for you. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Let's go. If you haven't had time to do so, please take the time to like and subscribe so that this YouTube channel can grow and this message can get to more and more people. Share the video as well. There are a lot of people still emailing me for the pay to delete. I will continue giving the pay to delete letter for free. All you have to do is email me at askadebtcollector@bearrecovery.com. This month and this month alone, for all the viewers, for a free consultation, a DIY credit repair, for those of you who know a little bit about credit repair and just need an extra little nudge, as well as for those of you who don't have the time to clean up your credit, but you're looking for a credible company to do so. This month alone, till the end of the month, till the 31st of July, I am giving 50% off of credit consultations as well as the DIY packet. So if you're interested in that, email me at askadebtcollector@bearrecovery.com. Subprime credit cards are credit cards I believe is almost borderline, and this is just my opinion, predatory lending to a certain extent. I've had a subprime credit card. I remember having it and paying it for a while and then realizing, when you leave interest on there, and when I looked at all the fees, I was being charged monthly for certain stuff and all these types of things. And eventually I tried to close the account out, and the company made it very difficult for it to close out for me. But that's my experience with, I've had one subprime credit card, and let's get into it. For those of you who don't know what a subprime credit card is, some of you guys may have one and don't even know it, but let me give you a definition of what a subprime credit card is. Subprime credit cards are credit cards intended for borrowers with poor credit ratings. The interest rates are often higher than traditional credit cards and incorporate other provisions designed to reduce the lender's risk. So basically a lender, anytime you get a credit card, a lender is giving you that credit card. Now, because you have a subprime credit score, then they'll add interest and fees and other little things just to mitigate their risk at giving you the credit card. And basically their risk is you getting that credit card, charging it up and not paying it off. So because your credit rating is low, they justify charging you more interest and more fees and so forth to mitigate their risk. So, typically someone with poor credit is gonna get a subprime credit card, and chances are of you paying it, or the chances of you actually paying that credit card either on time or paying it off or whatever the circumstance is a little higher because you have a history of possibly not paying your credit cards and so forth. Now, what scores am I talking about? So let me give you an idea about that. Now, for subprime credit, if your FICO score is anywhere between a 580 and a 619 FICO score, you're looked at as subprime. Obviously, 580, if your FICO score is 579 and below, you're looked at as really poor credit, and subprime credit cards probably won't even give you a chance depending on how much money you make and what your credit profile looks like. But typically between a 580 and a 619, that's considered subprime. Now, 620 to 659 is considered near prime. Prime credit scores is from a 660 to a 719, and then a 720 and above is considered super prime. So obviously you want to be in the prime and the super prime area to work to get to that area. But with subprime, if your FICO score is between a 580 and a 619, chances are if you apply for a credit card, the ones you're going to get approved for are subprime credit cards. This is why I say to avoid subprime credit cards, right? They carry high interest rates. Typically, they'll have yearly fees or even monthly fees on the credit card. And, it's just it's a lot more difficult. I almost feel like it's set up to have you fail, because someone with subprime credit means that obviously your money's not where it needs to be, and then they're willing to give you a credit card. Typically those credit card balances will start off low, $300, $500, but right when you get the card, they're going to charge some fees typically on the credit card to start you out. So you'll have a $300. I've seen where people have gotten a $300 credit card, and as soon as they got it, $120 was already charged on the card for fees and so forth with regards to that. I never understood someone with making less money, why they have to pay higher interest rates across the board with regards to everything. I never understood that, because the reality is they don't have money in the first place, so why even lend? Or if they're gonna lend to you, why give you high interest rates and so forth? Versus somebody with better credit typically are making a lot more money and they can afford to actually pay what the fees are, but that's just the way it's set up. Now, let's go through the 3 credit cards that in my opinion, I say that you should stay away from. Number 1, Credit One. Always being advertised through Credit Karma and so forth. I would stay away from them. They charge a lot of fees and so forth, and it's a setup. Number 2 is Milestone. They're another credit card company that I know a lot of people out there are being able to get. If your credit score is between 580 and 619, you probably saw them. I would stay away from that company. And the last company I would stay away from is First Premier Bank. Another credit card company out there. They do subprime credit cards for those within those FICO scores, and I would stay away from there. I know a lot of you guys out there are looking at me and saying, well, if I have between this FICO score, 580 and a 619, and I want to grow my credit, isn't subprime credit cards the only way that I can do so? No. There are some other options that you can do with regards to growing your credit and not having to pay all those high interest rates and fees. One of the things that I will recommend that you do is you can get a secured credit card. Now, with a secured credit card, obviously you can go down to your credit union, is who I recommend, but you go down to your public bank, if you bank with a public bank, one of the bigger banks. Go down there, have $300 to $500 or even $1,000. Go in there and say, hey, I want to start a secure credit card. Give them that money, and typically, depending on who you go to, after a year, there aren't no high, your interest rate may be a little high, but there aren't going to be any fees and so forth with regards to it. You're trying to establish and build credit. After a year, if you gave them that however much you gave them, they'll give it back to you. After a year after a year of monthly payments on that credit card, it's a secure, you give them that money just in case you do default, they have the money and they can obviously pay back the loan and they don't lose any loan. Their risk is a lot lower. But in this aspect, you're not getting charged a bunch of fees and interest rates and so forth. And you're dealing with your local bank. It's one way that you can build credit is a secure credit card. The other way that I've talked about on some times before is becoming an authorized user. So now you can either find somebody that trusts you and that you trust them, because you want someone with good credit to have a credit line over a course of the time, a year or plus. With regards to that, ask them to ask you as an authorized user. That could be free. Obviously, if you're looking for a company to do so, you can email me at assetdebtcollector@bearrecovery.com. Put in the subject header, authorized user. And like I stated before, this whole month, I'm doing 50% off on everybody who contacts me in the month of July. Whether you want a credit repair, you're looking for the DIY credit repair, or if you're looking, obviously for an authorized user. I have 2 credit cards that I specifically use only for this. They have a great history on them, as well as I keep a 0 balance on those credit cards. And that's another way to help boost your credit if you're in between that subprime FICO score, which is around a 580 to 619. Do those other 2 options. Stay away from those subprime credit cards, and it'll make things a lot better for you. Now, if you have any questions about credit or debt or this video, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. And as always, you be great.